What's up, mystery gang? All right, you guys, so before we get started, y'all already know, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you notified every time I post a new video. And I got some exciting news for you guys. There is an app called Ibotta, and it is amazing. Now, it helps you save money on purchases. So let's say you go to Walmart or you go to Walgreens, CVS, anywhere, and you make a purchase. You then can insert your receipt on the Ibotta app, and it gives you cash back. Like, you really can't beat that. Now, I know a woman on YouTube, she did like an Ibotta haul or whatever, and she went and got cold medicine. The cold medicine was like $9 and something, but after Ibotta, she ended up getting like $4 back. So, I mean, it's a very, very interesting app, and if you want to try it, I'm going to leave the link in the description, and let's get into this story, y'all. All right, so today we're going to be talking about Mark Gerardo. Now, Mark met his wife, Jennair Cox, as a teenager, and they instantly fell in love. Now, Jennair was basically head over heels for Mark, you guys. She loved everything about him. They ended up getting married in 1993, and things seemed to be going amazing. They were happy. I mean, they were in a loving relationship. The only thing was they didn't have kids. Now, as the relationship and the marriage continued, you guys, they ended up having financial problems. Now, a lot of people go through financial problems in a marriage. You know, sometimes a income might not supplement the other one, or one person might make more than the other person. Like, sometimes that can be a huge problem in a marriage. So they start going through these financial problems. Now, first of all, both of them were very, very successful, and both of them were marketing people. So they always had good jobs. But you guys, the way the economy is always up and down, Jennair ended up losing her job. So once Jennair, she loses her job, you guys, it puts a financial strain on the marriage. Now, it's not her fault that she lost her job, you guys, but when you're in a marriage and one income is gone, you know, things just get a little weird. So Mark, he starts to looking for another job, and he does find a job. He finds a creative director position at the University of Delaware. But you guys, as he's looking at the position and he's looking at the people that he could potentially work around, he comes across a woman by the name of Meredith. Now, Meredith was a 32-year-old, and she was very, very successful, and she worked at the University of Delaware.
In me and be challenged me to figure out, what do you want to do? How do you find a creative solution? And that really set me on my career trajectory.
Now, once Mark put in for this position, he went and had an interview, and he got the job. He ended up moving to Delaware from South Carolina and leaving Jennair behind. So basically, his wife of over 24 years, he's basically going to say, like, look, I'm going to leave you behind. I'm going to go to Delaware. I'm going to do this position. I'm going to make money for us, and soon you can come with me. Now, the problem with this is they don't have any kids. They don't have any responsibilities in South Carolina. So why would you leave and not take your wife with you? Now, it turns out that Mark had a crush on Meredith, which was his boss, his new boss at the University of Delaware. He had a crush on her, and he really wanted to get to know her on his own time. Now, Jennair is completely oblivious to this. She didn't even know Mark was even thinking of another woman, let alone crushing on another woman. You guys, so he leaves Jennair, he goes to Delaware to get this job, and his boss is Meredith Chapman. Now, he starts crushing on Meredith, but Meredith is married as well. Now, the two, they start getting along pretty good, and eventually they go out for drinks. Now, when they went out for drinks, that's when him and Meredith shared a kiss. Now, all right. He's saying that he felt completely bad about this. Mark is saying that once he kissed Meredith, he just instantly felt bad for Jennair. But let's be real. You knew when you was going to the job that you wanted to talk to Meredith. You even said that when you was doing the application and you saw her pictures and her bio on the website, you kind of like wanted to get to know her. So don't try to make it seem like when you kissed Meredith, you just felt bad for Jennair. I don't think he felt bad. Nevertheless, him and Meredith, they continued on with what they had going on, you guys. But you got to think about this. Jennair eventually moves to Delaware because she doesn't know about the affair. But all she knows is, okay, I'm moving to Delaware, you know, with my husband. I'm not knowing my husband is having an entire affair with his boss. So Jennair, she moves to Delaware with Mark, and she starts to notice Mark acting very different. So Jennair starts to put tracking devices on his phone. She starts putting recording devices like in his jacket, trying to catch Mark doing something because she has a feeling that it's with Meredith. Now, the reason why she's having a feeling that Mark and Meredith got something going on is because whenever she stayed in South Carolina and Mark would call her, he would always talk highly of Meredith. Now, it wasn't like in a that's my boss way. I think she's a very talented woman. It was almost like he was gushing over Meredith. So after doing a little tapping and a little spying, you guys, Jennair finds out that Mark and Meredith, they are indeed having an affair. Now, when she finds this out, she confronts Mark about it, and Mark, first he denies it, and then he finally breaks down and tell Jennair that he's in love with Meredith. Now, Jennair, she takes this horribly, you guys. She cannot accept the fact that Mark is having an affair and he's leaving her for Meredith. So they try to get marriage counseling. They try to do things just to try to improve the marriage, but he keeps messing around with Meredith. Now, in the process, Meredith and her husband are also getting a divorce. So we have two people who are married to other people, but they claim to be in love with each other. Now, as this whole entire thing is going on, remember, Jennair is dependent on Mark. She doesn't have a job. She doesn't have anything right now. So her whole world for the last 20 years was Mark. Now, Mark is telling Jennair, look, I love Meredith, but we can try counseling or we can try something, but nothing works. It gets to a point where Jennair is literally having to record Mark every other day. She's literally leaving recording devices all in his car, in his jacket, still because she doesn't trust him. Now, he then has enough and he tells her, look, we're getting a divorce. It's over. Now, what's crazy is Jennair then goes to the school and tell them that Mark and Meredith are having an affair. Now, you got to remember, Meredith was Mark's boss. So after Meredith and Mark, they lost their jobs, you guys, he was like, okay, Jennair, look, we can still live together, but I'm going to date Meredith. Now, how you tell your wife of over 20 years that y'all can still live together, but you're going to continue to date your mistress? Now, I'm not going to make Mark and Meredith out to be the bad guys like that in this situation, but you guys, actions. Both of you were married. Both of you were wrong, because at the end of the day, just because another woman is desirable in doing something more than your wife doesn't mean you go and cross your wife. That just means have a conversation with her. Let her know, look, I'm having these issues, or I feel like we're falling apart. Can we try something before I move on? So we're now around April in 2018, you guys, and this affair has been going on for months and months and months. Now, basically at this point, Jennair is like, okay, I know it's over. Mark is like, okay, I'm done. Meredith, she has another job. She has another place, like she's done with her husband. But the only crazy thing is, you guys, in Jennair's head, she still has lost everything. So on April 23rd, 2018, Jennair and Mark, they meet up to try to decide what they're going to do, how they're going to do the divorce, how they're going to split everything up. So they decide to meet at this restaurant so they can have a talk. But you guys, Mark goes to the restaurant and he sits and waits patiently on Jennair. He waits and waits and waits, but Jennair never shows up. Now, he then starts to get these anonymous texts. Well, not really anonymous. He starts to get these crazy text messages from Jennair. And in these text messages, Jennair was just like, look, you ruined my life. Like, you've done everything to me that you can do to me. I gave you 24 years of my life, and basically you suck. And Mark was just like confused, because he's thinking like, okay, I'm thinking I know we're getting a divorce, but why did you tell me to meet you somewhere to talk and then you don't show up? Jennair then responds, goodbye, Mark. Now, she then sends Mark a picture of a condom in the trash can. But you guys, the trash can was Meredith's trash can. That's when Mark realized that Jennair was at Meredith's house. Now, Mark is thinking that maybe she's just going over there to try to start something. Let me go try to stop it. So he rushes over to Meredith's house, you guys. And when he gets there, he finds something that he never thought that he would find. So when he arrives to Meredith's house, he then peeps in through a window where he sees Meredith laying face down on the ground. So Mark then gains entry into the home, you guys, and he sees Meredith just laying there unresponsive. This coward did not attempt CPR. He didn't check for a pulse. He ran completely out of the house. That's when he got a neighbor, and a neighbor then came in and checked her pulse, and that's when they found blood. Now, this neighbor, the first thing he thought was Mark killed Meredith. He was like, look, I feel like I'm in a house with a killer. This man just came outside yelling like, I don't know what's going on. So as they're trying to call the police to try to get help, that's when Mark looks to the other side of him and he sees another figure. Now, this figure has on like a trench coat, all black, shades, a hat, but he notices who this is, you guys. It's Jennair. Jennair just laid there lifeless, as well as Meredith. Both of them were dead. Now, what's crazy is Mark was running to Jennair, trying to see what was wrong with Jennair. And it's like he really was concerned with Jennair at that moment. But once police got there, it's almost like he became worried about Meredith. But both women were dead. Now,
Recently become an assistant vice president at Villanova University, was shot and killed upon entering her home. The second body found inside was that of 47-year-old Jennair Garrido, who had turned the gun on herself after carrying out a calculated plot against Chapman, who police say was having an affair with her husband. But that was not Garrido's first visit to the block. In fact, police now believe that she cased out her victim at the home 2 days prior.
It turns out that this was a murder-suicide that Jennair had been planning for weeks. Now, it's being said that Jennair, she went to the home of Meredith. Now, when she told Mark she was on her way to the restaurant, in reality, she was already at Meredith's house. She waited for Meredith to get off work, and when Meredith came home, she shot Meredith and then shot herself. Police, they honestly feel like, Jennair was planning this for a while, you guys. They even found a rental car parked down the street. It had ammunition in it, binoculars, and other things that was just looked like she was ready to go to war. Now, Jennair was brokenhearted. Like, this whole story pissed me off so bad. And the only person I was truly mad at was Mark. Because not only did you leave your wife when she was already broken down, you then went to another state to look for a job, but then you fell for your boss, who was also married. Like, that's just, I can't. Like, I feel like he's the cause of all of this. You was with your wife for over 24 years and you expected her to just be like, okay, well, this marriage is over. Let's move on. Like, I'm in no way defending Jennair's actions against killing Meredith. But when you're broken, when you've been through so much and you feel like this woman is going to have the life that you're supposed to have, the life that you waited so long for, just for your husband to tell you that I'm leaving you for another woman. Like, I understand it completely, but I really wish that she hadn't took it that far. Now, Jennair, she was trying to get help, you guys. She was a part of like these online forums. She was begging and crying out for help. But sadly, Mark cared more about his relationship with Meredith than he cared about the well-being and the mental state of his own wife. Meredith was like an amazing woman. She was extremely smart, extremely successful. And I just feel like her emotions got the best of her as well. I feel like at the end of the day, if her and Mark were really in love, they should have went about it the right way. There's no reason why Jennair should have found a condom in your trash can, knowing that her husband is going screwing you. Like, could you imagine how that feels? You know what I'm saying? Like, just put yourself in her situation. I honestly feel so horrible for Meredith because I feel like maybe her and her husband wasn't going as well, and that's why she fell for Mark the way she did. But at the end of the day, Mark was somebody's husband as well. And I really don't have any sympathy for Mark. And I'm going to be real. I watched all his interviews with ABC News. You can go look it up. I can't insert it in him because of copyright situations. But he's done like 40 interviews. Dr. Oz, Dr. Phil, ABC 2020. He's done like small YouTubers. He's done those kind of interviews. He's just been everywhere talking. And my thing is, where was this energy when your wife was begging for communication? Where was this energy when, your marriage was failing and you knew it, but instead you chose to have an affair? Like, I just don't take him serious at all. I feel like this whole situation was his fault. Like, I honestly feel like this would not have went as far as it did if he had handled it a totally different way. And honestly, like I said, I feel bad for Meredith. I feel bad for Jennair. I know she's the killer, but you guys, it's like I have a soft spot because of what she went through. It's a sad ending for both ladies at the end of the day. Both ladies lost their lives because of this man. And at the end of the day, he's just going to go on with his life and do this to another woman. Now, that story made me completely angry. I'm not going to lie, y'all. It took a lot for me to do that story. I researched that story for days because I did not want to really add Mark's interviews or none of his little shenanigans he been going around doing. I'd rather tell the story the way it was really happened. All right, y'all. So that's all I have for you guys today. Make sure y'all subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. And bye.